cocktails and crave-worthy small bites. Live music plus monthly comedy nights and tastings. Post your next event at Den 110, located at 19712 1 Norman Boulevard in Cornelius.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Thrive Here Live in the Town of Huntersville. I am Commissioner Edwin Quarles, and this morning we have a very special guest with us. We have Ms. Culeen Shaffer, who is the Veteran Service Officer for our new Veteran Service Office. Ms. Culeen Shaffer wore the wonderful blue Air Force uniform for 24 years and retired as a Master Sergeant. And to the 84-year-old woman who stopped asking her daughter to drive her to Charlotte because it became too much for her caring for her loving husband and his veteran needs, to the amputee who stopped trying to get an increase in compensation because the discomfort due to driving the long drive to the city of Charlotte, to the daughter who called me last month because her father had passed and she wanted to take care of her father's veteran burial benefits and the things of that nature. Those days are days of the past. You don't have to drive all the way to Charlotte to see a veteran service officer. You can go right here in the town of Huntersville. So again, I want to welcome Ms. Culeen Shaffer, our new veteran service officer, to Huntersville, but also welcome to Thrive Here Live. Culeen, if you will, just tell us who you are.
I'm a passionate veteran, as you mentioned, 24 years in the Air Force. It was National Guard with about 8 years of it active. I just have a heart for serving, so I focused a lot of my grad school work on veterans, homelessness, food insecurity. And then when I had this opportunity to become a veteran service officer, it just clicked. It's my forever job to take care of the veterans in our county.
Well, speaking of a heart for what you do, without a shadow of doubt, I don't have any second thought. I truly believe, it's my personal belief, that you are the right person for this position. You are veteran oriented. You're extremely detailed, and I've sat in your office a couple of times since you've been here, and I've been extremely impressed with just the conversation you've had about veterans and veteran services and veteran needs. So again, I think our veterans are truly blessed to have you as our veteran service officer. We could have had other people, but you were the right one for the position. And getting this veteran service office, it was a dream of mine, but I could not do this by myself. And I want to thank one, our Huntersville town manager, Mr. Anthony Roberts. The man is more than a town manager. Anthony Roberts is a true leader. Many might have a title, but a title doesn't make a person a leader. But Mr. Anthony Roberts is definitely a true leader. He understands what the town needs, but he also will lead us, guide us, direct us in the way that we should go. Another person I want to thank is in getting this veteran service office together is Mr. John Alexander. John is a man who's like my brother, and every time that John and I chat and we hang up or in a conversation is, I love you, brother. So John Alexander, if you're out there, you're listening, thank you so much for your support. I couldn't do it by myself. Another is Mr. Bill Russell in the Lake Norman Chamber. They had the Veteran Service Office as the number one item on the legislative agenda. That's how important it was to them to get a Veteran Service Office in the Lake Norman area. The town boards of Davidson, Cornelius, and Huntersville, I want to thank them for the collaboration and getting this done. I have a couple more people. I won't give me 30 seconds on this one. County Manager Mike Bryant, Mecklenburg County Chair, Mr. Mark Jarrell, Mecklenburg County at-large Commissioner, Mr. Arthur Griffin, and Lee Altman. They were very instrumental in getting this Veteran Service Office. So they're part of the reason that you're here. Former State Veterans Director and now manager, Mr. Edison Platt. Edison, he hit a home run. That guy was phenomenal. He came and spoke to our board about the importance of a Veteran Service Office in Huntersville. Mr. Scott Garlow, I want to thank him. And then, Commander of the American Legion Post 321, Mr. Kevin Horn, and all of the veteran members of that post, they all were phenomenal in getting this Veteran Service Office here. So if you see any of those people around, just say thank you because they played a very important part in getting this office here. They understand the economic impact. They understand the veteran service. Because it's easy for people to say, oh, thank you for your service. But it's more to that. And again, I want to thank you. But look, before we get into this, you told me you were a little nervous. And because you say you were a little nervous, I got two this and that questions for you. So you can just let your hair down and say, okay, breathe in, breathe out.
Okay.
All right, here we go. All right. If you had to do a training in the military, which would you sign up for? Arctic survival or jungle survival?
Oh, goodness. I cannot stand being cold, so I guess jungle survival. Like today's weather is killing me.
Oh, man. Well, I hate bugs and insects. And
True.
I actually went through Arctic survival when I was in the Air Force. I was stationed at Allison Air Force Base, and I volunteered for the Arctic survival. And when we went out there, the warmest it got was -30. And this is in the winter months, so you get very little daylight. You don't get a shovel. It was really cool. But I would take Arctic survival again over jungle survival. I would take cold over bugs in the day.
I didn't think about the bug aspect. There's probably more things that can kill you in the jungle.
And you say you were a National Guard. So here's another one. Being deployed, and you say you don't like the cold, so I might know the answer to this one. But being deployed to Alaska from December through March, very brutal, cold days, or being deployed to the desert from June to September.
Oh, I'd probably do the desert.
Well, I was at both. Again, being stationed in Alaska, I got used to the cold, and then I served in Desert Storm, so I was there during the hot summer months. I'm back to the cold again, man. But when I deployed to Saudi Arabia, I never forget, we landed at Dhahran Air Base, Saudi Arabia, at 7:00 a.m., and the temperature was over 100 degrees at 7 a.m. in the morning. It's not good.
You might have me changing my mind on location now. You can at least put more layers on in the cold.
Yeah, the Air Force would definitely equip us with, we'll equip you with the clothing that you would need to stay warm. But again, I love Alaska. I still communicate with a group of my Alaskan buddies. It's about 12 of us on a group text. We text like 3 or 4 times a week. I still communicate with my buddies from Dover, Delaware, Korea. But definitely the Alaska guys, man, we have some interesting text going back and forth. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to have some fun. We're going to prepare ourselves for a break. And after this break, we're going to get into the main purpose, and that is the Veteran Service Office that we have here in Huntersville. It's going to be a lot of fun, very informative podcast that we're going to have this morning. And I'm hoping that once people finish looking at this podcast, they will share it with other people so they can understand the importance of a Veteran Service Office. So again, we're going to go and pay some bills because I always tell them I got to pay the bills so I can come back on Mondays. So those out there in listening land, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Thrive Here Live in the town of Huntersville.
Sit tight. We'll be back with more after this on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
Well, I'll tell you what, 40s after 60s are rough, especially with the wind. It's a chilly start to the new week. High temperatures, even with sunshine, only into the low 40s, and that wind makes it even chillier. Overnight temperatures drop into the low 40s. Our Tuesday still chilly, not as windy, but upper 40s, and then we warm up a bit more heading into the middle of the week. That's your forecast. From the Surf Pickleball and Kitchen, I'm WSIC meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hi, this is Bob McIntosh with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Since 1997, we have been committed to providing our clients with competent, caring, and experienced legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Here's your WSIC Community Calendar.
Mooresville Community Children's Theater presents Honk Jr., the joyful musical retelling of The Ugly Duckling, filled with humor, heart, and messages about self-confidence and celebrating what makes you different. Catch performances February 28th at 1 and 4 p.m. and March 1st at 2 p.m. at the Joe V. Knox Auditorium in Mooresville. It's a perfect live theater outing for families. Learn more and get tickets at mooresvillechildrenstheater.org.
If your weekend plans include browsing, sipping, and maybe leaving with a stack of new reads, Fred and June's Books is celebrating the grand opening of its new Main Street location on February 28th from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 162 North Main Street in downtown Mooresville. The day includes mystery gift cards, free stickers, a golden ticket giveaway, mimosas, and more. There's something for book lovers of all ages. Details are available at fredandjunesbooks.com.
And while you're planning ahead for spring, reality is it's also time to think about summer. The second annual Summer Camp Expo takes place February 28th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Charles Mack Citizen Center in Mooresville. Meet local camp providers, explore sports, arts, science, and specialty programs, and compare day and overnight options all in one place. Admission is free, and it's the easiest way for families to plan the best summer ever. Find more information through the Town of Mooresville Parks and Recreation or at mooresvillenc.gov.
For even more local events, family activities, and things happening around Lake Norman, visit liveworkplaylkn.com.
That's liveworkplaylkn.com.
Reimagining care, restoring trust. Discover One Health, where our mission is creating the healthcare we all deserve. One Health provides comprehensive primary care and OBGYN services across the Lake Norman area. Visit our website at onehealthmpc.com to read our story and find a provider.
All right, we're back with more from the Town of Huntersville on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
All right, welcome back to Thrive Here Live in the Town of Huntersville. I am Commissioner Edwin Quarles, and today we have a very special guest with us in studio. We have our Veteran Service Officer for the Mecklenburg County Veteran Service Office, Miss Culeen Shaffer. Miss Culeen wore the wonderful blue Air Force uniform for 24 years and retired as a Master Sergeant. And again, as I said earlier, Culeen, welcome to Huntersville. I want to thank you so much for what you do. You are so veteran-oriented. There's a lot of things I've gotten to know since you've been here in Huntersville, but I want to share, I will ask certain questions so our listening audience can know more about a Veteran Service Officer or the Veteran Service Office, and then we can help people to share the importance of why they want to spread this podcast. If no other podcast, spread this one, because having a Veteran Service Officer in town, I'm going to ask you later about this, it does a huge economic impact once veterans start to receive certain type of compensation or benefits. But again, how excited are you in having the new VSO here in Huntersville at our town hall?
I'm extremely excited. There's veterans in this area that have just decided not to go and follow up on claims. It's also letting veterans in this area that never even knew they could file for claims because the advertisement of the office. So they're coming by and they're like, oh, I didn't think I could do this. I was guard, I was this. And so it's very exciting to reach a whole new audience of veterans that did not know what they could get from their service.
Yeah. Well, who can use the VSO?
Veterans. And it doesn't matter if they were active duty, reserve, guard, 2 years, 24 years, does not matter. Their spouses can come. There's benefits for spouses once a veteran reaches 100%, or if the veteran passes. Also, their children benefit also, so they can stop by to find out what they're entitled to, or if their veteran family member passes, on what steps that we can help them with.
So you mentioned children. So can children use it for, let's say you have someone that graduate from high school and that student wants to, or that child wants to go to college. what is the process if the child want to use some benefits, if the parent or the veteran is 100%?
There is education benefit for that child up till the age of 26 that they can use. They can apply online, or if they need help for filling out that form, they can come by to the office and do it that way as well.
I asked that because when I talk about the economic impact, a lot of people say, well, he's talking about veterans just getting a check once a month. That economic impact, just with that little scenario right there, is now you have that 18-year-old just left high school, goes to college, and now that student is getting a stipend. That stipend is money now that mom and dad or that veteran can keep in their pocket.
Exactly. And not to mention, it's bettering the life of that child who will contribute to their community after school.
Absolutely. So it's so many ways where when you look at you take the bow off, and then they have a box here and then another box inside that box, and you keep opening the boxes, or you're peeling the layers of the onion off. There are so many benefits that our veterans are entitled to, that could make a huge difference. And I always look at, as we talk about revitalizing our downtown, or we want to support our small businesses, if a veteran doesn't have to travel to Charlotte, but now you have veterans from Mooresville, Cornelius, Davidson, Huntersville. They may want to go to one of our gas stations, or they may want to go to our grocery store, or to just a burger place. That's more impact into our community. Now, many have said that, some have said that, the Veteran Service Office should not be in Huntersville. And someone told me that it was the, a better word to use it politically, the optics is a better way to put it. Do you think having this Veteran Service Office in Huntersville or the Lake Norman or the North Mecklenburg area a game changer or not?
It definitely is. One of the first people that came to my office lives 2.5 miles from the Huntersville office and was going all the way to Concord because they didn't want to drive to Charlotte. And then I had another veteran who was going all the way to Statesville.
Wow.
Because they didn't want to go to Charlotte.
Wow.
So it's definitely needed here. And the amount of people, phone calls, emails I have gotten have shown that the need is here.
Oh, wow. That's great to hear. Now, how long have you been in the role or doing the role of a veteran service officer?
I've been a veteran service officer since May. So
Okay.
we're coming up on a year.
And I say that because when I say that, I know that you're the right person for this position. You're veteran oriented. But when I sat in your office and you were talking about scholarly journals and scholarly research, you made me think about some of the classes I'm taking right now. I'm like, that's impressive, because I first did my claim many years ago and I was getting denied, didn't know what was going on. But to have someone like you with 8 months in, the plus is you have the military background. The negative side, what I was dealing with someone who may have gone to college and got a degree in counseling or social work or something and wanted to go into veteran services. They only gave me the book knowledge, but they didn't understand what a veteran go through. How do you feel if someone just say, back to the this or that, would you want someone to say thank you for your service or thank you for my freedom?
Thank you for my freedom.
Yeah. And that's what I have on in my my bathroom, my vanity area. I have this Air Force placard, and it says, "Thank you for my freedom."
That's awesome.
And that means a lot. And I didn't think much about it until a lady last Veterans Day told me, "Thank you for my freedom." And it meant a lot to me, because I'm then thinking, well, wow, I have this on a placard, but thank you for your service. It means, well, okay, just thank you for your service. But we are free because of what the sacrifice that the men and women have done. And it means a lot to me. So when you were guard, did you deploy to many places, or you just stayed stateside?
I was mobilized a couple times stateside,
Okay.
once after 9/11, and then another time I was mobilized for the second President Obama inauguration. I did a bunch of TDYs. I also was on a joint task force with counter drug for 5 years
Oh, cool.
in the state of Pennsylvania. I've gone overseas just TD-wise when volunteering to actually deploy. Unfortunately, I did not get that opportunity. Or some may say fortunately.
Well, I had some really cool assignments. Japan was my first assignment. I was in Korea in 1988, and I actually scrimmaged against the 1988 Olympic team for basketball. I went to the 88 Olympic Games. That was really cool. I met I was there, John Thompson and Danny Manning, those basketball players there. But I've had some really cool assignments. And as I said earlier, I still communicate with my Air Force buddies from Delaware. I'm going to go back to Japan. And one of my friends from Japan is still in Japan after 40 years. Delaware, Alaska, Korea. Some really cool stuff. Now, what was the best part of your Air Force career? If there was a best part?
Probably two. As a photojournalist, I got to tell the veteran stories. But after that, I was a first sergeant for security forces. So getting to take care of the airmen so that they had all their needs met. Luckily, I didn't have to do a lot of discipline, but sometimes you had to do it as well.
Yeah.
But you had to ensure that they had everything in order so that they could deploy.
Okay. Back to the veteran service officer. We know that you're in the Huntersville Town Hall. What are your hours of operation, and how can you be reached?
Hours of operation, I get there at 8, but we won't start seeing veterans until 9,
Okay.
until 4. Last veteran that can walk in or make an appointment will be at 4. Closed for lunch around noon to 1, but a little flexibility around there if needed. They can either call me, they can stop by, they can email me. Most people have been wanting to make appointments, even though it's been out there as walk-ins, and seems to work for the community right now. So we'll give it another month or so, see what works best, and adjust based off of that.
Well, I know when you and I first talked, you shared with me about the number of veterans you've seen in your first 2 weeks. How are things going since the soft opening in January to now?
Grown. Each week, like 12 appointments a week it's been, and then by the time the end of the day, I have at least half a dozen voicemails waiting, maybe that many, if not more, emails waiting. Some's just following up. Others are calling because they want to make appointments. So it's been busy.
People that don't know what you do. So if someone walked past your office and they see that there's no veteran in that office, I want them to understand, you say 12 a week. That's just not someone that's coming to your office. It's more to that, because if you have to file a claim or develop a claim, then now it takes time too to do that. It takes time for the research. So, wow, if you continue at this pace, we might be talking about another VSO in Huntersville in the near future. Maybe I could end my time as a commissioner and be a VSO.
That would be amazing, because you're just as passionate about the veterans and this community.
I love it. So what we're going to do, we're going to take another quick break, pay these bills, come right back, and get back more into these veteran service office in detail. So again, those in listener land, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Thrive Here Live in the town of Huntersville.
You live here, you work here, you thrive here. It's Thrive Here Live, sponsored in part by Blue Oak Realty Group. Back with more, only on WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, I'll tell you what, 40s after 60s are rough, especially with the wind. It's a chilly start to the new week. High temperatures, even with sunshine, only into the low 40s, and that wind makes it even chillier. Overnight temperatures drop into the low 40s. Our Tuesday still chilly, not as windy, but upper 40s, and then we warm up a bit more heading into the middle of the week. That's your forecast. From the Surf Pickleball and Kitchen, I'm WSIC meteorologist Chase Myers.
Spotless cleaning. How can we make your day spotless? Yes, we make not just toilets spotless, but also counters, cabinets, and kitchens. We make your whole house, your whole day spotless. My grandparents taught me the details, not the things, make your home and your life luxurious. Yes, they raised me in Brazil. And that's why we will never charge you extra for base sports. Let me help you be a diva a few hours a week. SpotlessCleaningNC.com.
Harness the healing power of horses. With the amazing staff at Willow Equine in Mooresville, we create a supportive environment conducive to healing and growth, dedicated to self-discovery and overcoming adversity. There's a program for you at willowequine.com.
When cancer changes everything, hope still matters. Cancer thriver Charlisa Harriet, also known as Coach C, the crushing chemo chick, creates faith-filled resources that comfort and uplift, including books, journals, planners, and greeting cards. Find encouragement created from lived experience at crushingchemochick.com and be sure to catch her show, The Healed Exchange with Coach C, Wednesdays from 11 to noon, right here on WSIC.
Feeling stressed? Can't focus? It's not just in your head, it's in your brain. Dr. Tim Royer shows you how to reset and refocus on your brain matters. Thursdays at 4 on WSIC. Listen live, on air, online, or on the WSIC News app.
Sweetheart, would you turn it down? The neighbors can hear us. Sweetheart, the neighbors can hear this.
Ladies, if your husband's favorite TV setting is way too loud, it might be time for a hearing test. If this sounds familiar, it's time to call Beltone in Mooresville and Cornelius. Call 877-HEAR-123 today. That's 877-HEAR-123. Turn down the TV and turn up the conversation. Call 877-HEAR-123 now.
It feels good to be needed, and Angels and Sparrows needs you. Our full play fundraiser is underway, and your gift brings hope home to Lake Norman. One meal, one child, one family, changed by your gift. Give today at angelsandsparrows.org. Hope starts with you.
Life can feel overwhelming. Anxiety, depression, grief, trauma. Quick fixes just don't cut it. At the Kohler Group, our licensed faith-based therapists provide care for your whole self, mind, body, and spirit. Healing isn't surface level. It's real, lasting, and centered in God. We accept multiple major insurance carriers and self-pay options, so you can focus on recovery, not paperwork. Take the first step today. Call or text 252-758-8636. Because with God, all things are possible.
Jay White here from Centralina Realty. At Centralina Realty, we believe it's all about you. If it's time to sell your home, don't go it alone. Put the team here at Centralina Realty to work for you. Go to centralinarealty.com and let's get started.
Don't miss a thing. Download the WSIC News app today. WSIC. Local starts here.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. ConocoPhillips is said to be exploring a sale of some of its Permian Basin assets as part of a broader streamlining of its portfolio. Sources tell Bloomberg the properties are expected to fetch around $2 billion. The assets were picked up over the years through deals with Concho Resources and Shell. Meanwhile, Goldman Sachs is raising its oil price forecast for the final 3 months of the year. The bank increased its estimate for West Texas Intermediate by $6 a barrel to $56. However, that's about $10 below the current price of crude. And gold is climbing again after a run of 3 weekly gains as heightened uncertainty over U.S. trade policy unsettles markets and hurts the dollar. Bullion rose as much as 1.4% toward $5,180 an ounce. President Trump said Saturday he would impose a global tariff of 15% to preserve measures after the Supreme Court ruled against his use of emergency powers to set duties. Erica Herskowitz, Bloomberg Radio.
Friendly reminder, don't brake when you see the lake.
WSIC. Local starts here.
All right, we're back with more from the Town of Huntersville on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
All right, welcome back. We're live here, live in the Town of Huntersville. I am Commissioner Edwin Quarles, and today we have a very special guest. We have Ms. Culeen Shaffer. Culeen Shaffer is the new Veteran Service Officer in our new town hall, servicing our veterans here in the North Mecklenburg part of the county. Culeen wore that wonderful blue uniform for 24 years and retired as a Master Sergeant. For those who don't know, Master Sergeant, is that like junior NCO or senior NCO, or what level is a Master Sergeant?
It would be a senior NCO. So E7, we go up to E9 for enlisted ranks, for those that are not familiar with the ranks.
Absolutely. And you also had to go to the Senior NCO Academy and all that fancy stuff to learn how to be a leader and how to manage people. Now, being a senior NCO, I've talked to several veterans who probably retired at E7, E8, E9 that went off and got federal jobs working for the government. And they say, well, I can't file for a claim because I make too much. Is that factual?
That's not. If they're doing a pension, then yes, their income matters. But if they're filing it because their disabilities are service connected, their income does not matter.
Okay. I also talked to a gentleman last week who said, I can't file a claim for benefits because if I do, it's going to mess up my health insurance. Help me out with that. I've never heard of that.
Either have I, because it's just they're getting a monthly amount for their disability. It doesn't affect their insurance at all.
Yeah.
And even if they go to the VA hospital for care, it's not insurance. It's health care that they're going there for.
Yes. Another way that you can actually save money that would go back into our communities.
Exactly.
For example, at a certain percentage, you can go get eye exams, dental exams. So many things is out there that the veterans are entitled to. There's a thing called independent living. And I was in independent living for a while. What's the difference, or can you explain to the veterans out there being employable and unemployable?
Okay, so there's at a point where if you reach 70% or if your one disability is at 60% and that disability is affecting your ability to hold a job, let's say it's somebody with PTSD and they just really can't hold a job because they cannot maintain those relationships, they have irritability issues, whatever the case may be, they can file what's called individual unemployability. So they're essentially at a 60 or 70, however, they're getting paid at 100%.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot work, or they have to make a very minimum amount if they do.
Yeah.
Somebody that's at 100% because all their disabilities added up to that,
yes,
they can work as much as they want.
Yes.
I know plenty of 100% veterans who are working full-time jobs and even a couple jobs.
Yeah, because that right there is a bad word out there where I can't, when it comes to I'm making too much money or my rank was a certain amount. That's not true. And that's why it's so important to have a veteran service officer in our town where just a veteran can come in and just ask the simple questions because you don't know what you don't know. And if someone is out there listening, if you have a neighbor or coworker that is a veteran, send that person to the veteran service officer and just sit down and have a conversation.
Exactly. There's so many rumors out there, or veterans might have the same disability but serve differently, or maybe they serve the same but they have different not every veteran is the same. It's not a cookie cutter process.
Yeah. Now, you say things are going good thus far, but how is the message that we have a veteran service office open in Huntersville being relayed?
So far, a lot of it's been word of mouth. And then in some of the media, I've been to a couple outreach events, like the coffee that's in Huntersville, the second Friday of every month.
Fun.
Yeah, definitely fun. A lot of good speakers, a lot of good camaraderie there. We're also updating our pamphlets, flyers, things like that. Social media. Just being on this podcast right here is going to reach tons of veterans who did not know.
Yeah, speaking of being on this podcast, I know the Town of Cornelius, they also do a podcast on Thursdays. I would hope that they will have you on. It's the same thing with Davidson. We need to keep the word out there, keep it fresh, never let it become stale. We want to get it to where, again, I'm serious about having 2 offices in this town or the town of Huntersville to serve our veterans and our dependents. We have a large population of veterans in the Lake Norman area. And if we could just tap into maybe another 10% each year, it would just make things go bonkers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they don't even have, if they work in Mecklenburg but don't live here, they still can come and see me.
Well, you can rest assured. Well, I've sent a couple people to you that actually live in Charlotte, the city of Charlotte. One, not because I'm trying to get the numbers up, but when I learned about you and knowing that you are veteran oriented, I wanted them to work with someone who's going to have their best interests at heart. And the two people that I know I sent to you were very impressed with you. I've also sent you to someone who was way out of state. But lesson learned. But one thing about you is you can't help that person in another state as far as his or her claim. However, you were able to listen to that person and then provide information that could help that person with the claim in the state that they're in. That's the importance of you and the value of Culeen Shaffer.
Exactly. And I'm glad you passed that person to me. Just like it's just bonding with other veterans also is part of it and letting them know that they're heard.
Yes. Yes. And this person also can have a condition that, which I don't know if any research is on this one, was harmed because of a veteran that was served in Desert Storm that may have the Gulf War syndrome or Gulf War illness. So you're just, you're very important to us because, again, just the research that you do is been able to help other people out. You might need to do some scholarly research for your journal on yourself, man, and help people research what Culeen Shaffer have put out there. Speaking of putting some stuff out there, last week there was a big scare with the veterans about benefits. I sent you a text saying, whoa, what is this? Can you explain to veterans what that was as well as now what it is?
Okay, so right now they're looking at if a veteran's on medication, on evaluating them at what they're like while on that medication versus without. So, or let's say they have sleep apnea and they're using a CPAP machine. Is that CPAP making them a completely normal person? Then they're potentially going to lower that percentage just because the veteran has something that helps them. So there's a lot of people that are trying to fight this because it's not fair. It's going to take money out of the veterans' pockets. Also, it's potentially going to make veterans stop taking their medications.
Absolutely, yes.
And that's dangerous.
Yes, because you can have someone on a blood pressure medication. They may have been on that medication, I'm going to say, let's say, I'm just throwing a number there, 12 years. And they stop taking that medication because they've used to their income. So they stop taking the medication, which will now cause more health problems. Or someone that, as you were talking about, PTSD or CPAP, they may stop using that CPAP machine, and now they can have issues throughout the night. So that is a very dangerous even plan or idea that the veterans office thought about doing, which is not good. Not good.
Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to know, coming back is, so we're going to another break, how is the people coming into your office or reaching out to you, how is that measured? So I'm going to give you some time to think about how is it measured? How are we keeping track of who comes into the office? So what we're going to do is we're going to take another break. And this might be our last break for the day. So we're going to come back. So those in listener land, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Thrive Here Live in the town of Huntersville.
Sit tight. We'll be back with more after this on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
Well, I'll tell you what, 40s after 60s are rough, especially with the wind. It's a chilly start to the new week. High temperatures, even with sunshine, only into the low 40s, and that wind makes it even chillier. Overnight temperatures drop into the low 40s. Our Tuesday still chilly, not as windy, but upper 40s, and then we warm up a bit more heading into the middle of the week. That's your forecast. From the Surf, Pickleball, and Kitchen, I'm WSIC meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar.
Mooresville Community Children's Theater presents Honk Jr., the joyful musical retelling of The Ugly Duckling, filled with humor, heart, and messages about self-confidence and celebrating what makes you different. Catch performances February 28th at 1 and 4 p.m. and March 1st at 2 p.m. at the Joe V. Knox Auditorium in Mooresville. It's a perfect live theater outing for families. Learn more and get tickets at mooresvillechildrenstheater.org.
If your weekend plans include browsing, sipping, and maybe leaving with a stack of new reads, Fred and June's Books is celebrating the grand opening of its new Main Street location on February 28th from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 162 North Main Street in downtown Mooresville. The day includes mystery gift cards, free stickers, a golden ticket giveaway, mimosas, and more. There's something for book lovers of all ages. Details are available at fredandjunesbooks.com.
And while you're planning ahead for spring, reality is it's also time to think about summer. The second annual Summer Camp Expo takes place February 28th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Charles Mack Citizen Center in Mooresville. Meet local camp providers, explore sports, arts, science, and specialty programs, and compare day and overnight options all in one place. Admission is free, and it's the easiest way for families to plan the best summer ever. Find more information through the Town of Mooresville Parks and Recreation or at mooresvillenc.gov.
For even more local events, family activities, and things happening around Lake Norman, visit liveworkplaylkn.com.
That's liveworkplaylkn.com.
Show your pets some love this February with $75 off dentals for Pet Dental Health Month at East Lincoln Animal Hospital. Same-day visits are a call or click away. Now offering boarding, grooming, and our new water treadmill therapy. Book online at eastlincolnanimalhospital.com or call 704-251-5554.
What if we've got it backwards? Stop letting frustration hold your child back. The book Extinguishing Einstein reveals why traditional methods fail and what really works for ADHD. Claim your free copy today at RoyerNeuroscience.com and empower your child to thrive.
All right, we're back with more from the Town of Huntersville on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
All right, welcome back to Thrive Here Live in the Town of Huntersville. I'm Commissioner Edwin Quarles, and my special guest today is our new Veteran Service Officer, Ms. Culeen Shaffer. Colleen wore that wonderful blue Air Force uniform for 24 years and retired as a Master Sergeant. So she was a senior NCO. What that means for you out there in listening land, she have experience in managing and leadership. And you are doing a phenomenal job as our leader in Huntersville as a Veteran Service Officer. I've heard nothing but positive things about you. There were some that had concerns about, oh, you're not being the right person, but no, I do not have any questions that you are the right person. You are who we need in this area at this time. You are very veteran-oriented, and that means a lot. We talked about how things are going thus far, and you said things are going wild and busy, which is a good thing. When you say busy, we have someone that may come in to want to file a claim. Explain to our listening audience the difference between filing a claim and developing a claim.
Filing a claim, you're just putting together your initial claim, probably not even providing a statement of support and just seeing if it sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Fully developed, you're putting together that statement of support, digging further and looking. So I say I'm not just an advocate, but I'm a medical researcher, I'm a lawyer, and sometimes a counselor. So I dig. I find articles that will support the case.
Very important.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I had someone in my office that served in Panama at the time of Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't get Agent Orange, but he knew there was a herbicide that was in Panama. So I actually found a U.S. document that showed the days, the gallons, and it being sent to Panama happens to be the same time he was there, and it ends up being Agent Purple, not Agent Orange.
Oh, my. I've never heard of Agent Purple.
So there's actually a couple different colors, and how they did it is the barrels, the band that was around it was the color. So Agent Orange, the herbicide itself wasn't orange. It was
Yes.
a band around it, and that's how they knew which herbicide was in which barrel.
That make me think of for those out there, if you want to learn more about my situation, like the Gulf War syndrome, there's a documentary out there called "Killing Our Own: The Truth Behind the Gulf War Illness," and that right there, that documentary talks so much about the experience that the servicemen that served in Vietnam went through. How the government say, well, there's no such thing as a Gulf War syndrome, as a Gulf War illness. So for those who like history or just wanted some more information about what we've gone through, Vietnam veterans and Desert Storm veterans, we have so much that's similar. But I just learned, wow, the Agent Purple, I didn't know that. I always hear Agent Orange.
Yep,
Well-
there's an Agent Purple, there's a green. I think there's 5 different colors.
Wow, phenomenal. Now, give us do you have any stories of veterans or dependents that may have come into your office? I know you can't go into detail with a person's name or whatever, but you have any stories that might be similar or someone may resonate and say, wow, I know someone that may have a similar situation.
I have a couple. There's some, we do a lot of out of the box thinking. I had a spouse come to me whose husband died of something he wasn't service connected for at all. But I looked at the medications he was taking for his service connections and was able to link that to his death. So she's now receiving a dependent indemnity compensation every month. And that was shortly after her husband's death. But then I had a woman, her spouse died 45 years ago at the age of 32.
Whoa.
Knew nothing about being able to file a claim. He didn't even file a claim because back then Vietnam War veterans, they just felt that they couldn't or they just didn't know they could. So because of one of my other clients that was her neighbor, went to her and says, you need to go see Culeen and see what she can do for you. Sure enough, 45 years later, she is now receiving a monthly compensation. On a Wednesday morning, she woke up to over 20 grand of back pay in her account.
Wow.
Yeah. Right
Now,
here in Mecklenburg.
that is another reason people need to spread the word. If you are a veteran, or if you were married to a veteran, go see Culeen Shaffer at that Veteran Service Office. Because again, I've never heard a story such as that. 45 years pass, and then get a $20,000 check.
Yep. She thought there was a mistake when she looked at her bank account. And I called her and I told her, nope, it's not a mistake. That's all yours.
And it's not about the money, but you don't know what you don't know. There are other, again, we don't even have enough time to talk about all the benefits that are entitled to. But you are very important for our community, and it's just so, we just need you. Now, if a veteran is denied when a claim is filed, should they just move on and give up, or what should they do, he or she do?
They should come see a veteran service officer, even if they started with one or they did it on their own. A lot of times veterans will start on their own. They'll come and we look at the reason, and we take that reason and make it no longer a reason for the VA to deny it. It could be because they didn't have a current diagnosis. Perhaps they had an injury in service. It still bothered them, but they just sucked it up and didn't go to the doctor. All they got to do is go to the doctor and get that current diagnosis, and we can file what's called a supplemental claim.
Yeah.
Or there's cases where maybe the compensation and pension exam did not go as it should. We can file for a new exam. There's many things to look at based off the denial, and they don't have to give up.
One thing we as veterans need our non-veterans to do. I'm the 12th Congressional District Commissioner for Veteran Affairs. I'm also on the Legislative Committee. There is a bill that was passed. We have a thing called Claim Sharks. The service, is there a cost to use the service with the VSO?
We're completely free. And I let them know up front. I let them know I don't even want gifts.
Yeah. What's sad is some of our elected officials allow these claim sharks to come in to charge veterans to file their claims. And if that claim is successful, they get a large portion of that needed compensation from that veteran. We got to continue to push that. And if those out there on listener land, if you would reach out to Culeen and learn more about this bill, or you can reach out to myself, or Kevin Horn is a dynamic one to speak about this one. We need that support until our legislators stop this, because it's not fair for someone to charge veterans to file a claim when they can get it done for free.
Exactly. I just had someone come in my office. They filed an intent to file in November, have not heard from the company at all. I read the contract, and that's because they'll get 20% of this veteran's back pay.
Sad. Very sad. Very sad. And another thing that we're pushing at the state level is, if you were a veteran at 100% permanent total in South Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, surrounding states, if you're 100% permanent total, they don't have to pay personal property tax on their homes. But here in North Carolina, we're fighting for veterans. It's a small percentage that get to that level of permanent and total at 100%. But you still have to fight to get that benefit. So we need people also to say, okay, hold on. It's more than saying thank you for your service. It's now let's fight, and push back with our elected officials and say, okay, no, stop. Why is Virginia, Georgia, South Carolina, many veterans file for and get that percentage? They move to South Carolina.
They do.
Just so they don't have to pay personal property tax.
Unfortunately, they'll stay here until they get that 100, and then they'll go to South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia.
That's really sad. So again, it bothers me when people want to play politics with veterans. When I was pushing for this veteran service office, I told everyone, I'm not going to play politics with this one. I don't see a party affiliation when it comes to our veterans. I don't see color. I don't see any. I see veterans. I see dependents. I understand the importance of the benefits. I understand the regulations very well. But we need people that's going to continue to push and be an advocate, such as yourself. We need people like our county commissioners who just we sat at the table and they were so supportive with this. Mr. Anthony Roberts again, Kevin Horn with the American League. We need more people that's going to continue to push. But these people that's pushing, we don't need them all to just be veterans, because we need those to say, hey, I thank you, but now I'm going to fight with you and for you. Do you have any National Guard stories before we get out of here?
Actually, not of my own National Guard stories.
Yeah, anything.
Oh, goodness. I've gotten to tell so many stories of veterans while I was in.
Mm-hmm.
Just what they do, things that people would not know about. Also, just being able to be part of history.
Okay.
So it wasn't just telling their story, but history. I've photographed 3 presidents while I was in. I've gotten to travel because of being in, things I would not have done had I not served.
Before we go, 30 seconds, 5 seconds, your telephone number and a quick email.
All right. It is 980-314-1913, and my email is Culeen, Culeen, .Shaffer, Shaffer, at mecknc.gov. That's mecknc.gov.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Culeen, for being in studio with me today on Thrive Here Live. I want to thank those out there in listening land for listening to us. And again, thank you so much for those out there in listening land. See you next time on Thrive Here Live in the town of Huntersville.